The 15th of November. No, the 18th of November. No, 2023? Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick and today, guys, we're talking XRP. There's some interesting things that kind of are floating out there. So I figured, why not? Let's do a video. Let's talk about it. Let's get some stuff out in the air and yeah, we'll see where things go. As I get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, maybe even entertaining at times, smash that like button. I do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. And if you haven't yet joined us in Discord, links in the description below. It's a fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. It's completely free and is the centralized hub of Cheeky Crypto. We do a lot more down in a Discord server than we do across these social media platforms. So why not go ahead and check it out? And on that note, let's go ahead and jump on into what is going on here with XRP. We'll start things off pretty casually here, and we're going to talk about, you know, what's going on, maybe the 15th, the 18th, the 2023 scenario. But essentially what we're talking about here is wild speculation. Usually this is the speculation that this is the date that we are going to the moon. Now, if we think back, I think it was like the 24th of August. Yeah, I'm pretty certain that was a date. The 24th of August 2020 was the date that so many influencers are saying, that's it. That's the day that we're going to the moon. That is the day that XRP is being backed by gold. You know, everything else, it's the great reset, you name it. That is what was being told to you. Obviously, the 24th of October, so 24th of August it came, it went. There was no gold standard being, you know, XRP being backed by gold, and you know, time progressed and dates changed and dates got delayed and pushed and so forth, right? And so we start to understand, actually, do any of these influencers have any inside sources? Do they actually know what they're talking about, or is it just literally to get people's attention, get them clicking, and so that they can farm you guys and make a living? These are the things we have to think about. On that note, let's jump into this first one. The Ripple versus SEC lawsuit may come to a conclusion on 15th of November 2022, or even before that. Well, times are ticking. It's the 6th of November here, and we haven't really had any decent kind of output yet. So, I'm not optimistic. Let me know if you are thinking the 15th of November in the comments below. I'm definitely not thinking the 15th of November. But, you know, these things are there to get people's attention and to get people into FOMO activity and all that kind of stuff. I'm not even going to bother reading the article. The headline tells me that it's not worth it. Let's move on to the next one. This one's a Reddit thread, and Ripple versus SEC, a lawsuit to end by the 18th of November. Okay, so we've got an extra 3 days on it. Got a little while yet, right? So we'll see, a couple of weeks. Let's see where things land on the 18th of November. According to pending Ripple class action, Jeremy Hogan. No, I'm pretty certain Jeremy Hogan hasn't given a date on it either. Could be wrong, but I'm pretty certain he wouldn't have done that. So we'll see how that kind of goes. But essentially, one of the things that we need to kind of consider is what's been going on most recently. We have the briefs coming in from various different companies and XRP holders alike, right? Which is fantastic to see the support for Ripple. But one of the things that we should note and we should be blissfully aware of is the processes that go in the background to these things. They are not as simple as the SEC now going to just roll over and, you know, basically just say, Ripple, you won. That's our bad. We should never have sued you. That's not going to happen, is it? They're going to try to maybe come to conclusion. They're going to kind of maybe settle. There's going to be a conversation there. And the SEC are not going to want to give the one thing that Ripple are going to want. So that's going to be a lengthy discussion in itself. Otherwise, if it were to be a quick discussion and a quick kind of idea for settlement, then it wouldn't have taken this long thus far. I'm going to assume that the lawsuit only really happened because those conversations weren't going in a direction that Ripple were happy with. Nonetheless, let's move on. We have today got this. And Ripple Industry Insider tells settlement date for fight with SEC. Will XRP price react? So, Another insider, gotta love these things. This one is, it's one of those, right? This comes from someone who has actually represented many different companies that have been sued and had lawsuits brought to them by the SEC. So it's pretty familiar with the processes that go in the background here. Same with Jeremy Hogan as well, right? They understand how these things kind of generally go. No kind of quick fix. There's no kind of quick way out of it. Now, before I get into this, let's just kind of be aware that all those briefs that were brought forward recently have finally landed with the court. Various different companies saying that they use the XRPL without Ripple even knowing about it. So that's got to be decentralized. And if Ripple didn't know about it, how is even XRP that I'm using on the XRPL even considered a security if Ripple didn't know about it? You've got that. Then you've obviously got Coinbase also as a surprise backing for Ripple. And then you've got obviously the XRP holders underpinning the fact that the SEC have not underpinned their own mission statement. So there's a lot of things to think about there. There's lots of things to unpack. But obviously with that and unpacking all of those briefs comes time delays. And those time delays are going to be put forward by the SEC to drag their heels a bit. They're going to want to, again, like they have done for the rest of this lawsuit, drag their heels and respond and build their case around these briefs. They're not just going to now, all right, we've got the briefs, let's go ahead and settle. That shit doesn't work this way, right? So we need to be a little bit more realistic in this world, right? We can't just blindly believe that things are going to be all of a sudden within 20 minutes of settlement. It's a $10,000 XRP token. That's just absolute bullshit. And it's important that we understand that. Now, that might offend people. That's okay. You don't have to be liking this content. You don't have to be here. You don't have to like the fact that I'm telling you as I see it. I don't mean to offend you, but you really need to dig deeper because essentially nothing would move in that particular way. You cannot go from $0 to $10,000 or close to $0 to $10,000 instantaneously. There is far too much selling pressure that would be occurring on that journey. And you've got to understand that in order for price to move, you have to have a demand that outpaces the supply. And if the supply starts increasing as price is moving up, you're suppressing the price movement to the upside. Now, I get it. You're going to be talking about, but all the banks around the world are going to be using it, right? You're going to have so much of it. They're going to buy it all up. No, because essentially really what the banks want, they want liquidity. They want buyers and they want sellers for XRP. That's the only way that they're able to actually take advantage of the software as it is. That's why they call it ODL after all, right? So it's important that we understand that liquidity is absolutely everything and is at the heart of this, which means they need people to have many people, ideally. I mean, it doesn't have to just be banks. It could be multiple people holding this particular asset, be willing to buy it and be willing to sell it. So I don't think the price is actually going to be getting anywhere near the levels that people are estimating it to go to. Instead, you have to understand that there's going to be buyers, there's going to be sellers, and that change between the balance of the supply and the demand is going to keep the price at a relatively stable level. Okay, and this will then make businesses and basically banks want to actually use these assets because they have predictability to them. You can't have things, rapidly spiking up and down. Nonetheless, when settlement comes, which I do think is what we're going to have, we are going to see a significant surge to the upside, okay? And this is going to come from many different FOMO aspects, okay? We've seen it time and time again. So even outside of the actual use case here, you can park all of that. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. The roadmaps from the banks, if you actually bother to go ahead and actually look them up, most of them are around 2025, right? 2025 is when they're launching their CBDC programs and things like that. Some are a little bit earlier, like 2023, but not many. Most of them are 2025. So when you actually take a look at it from that kind of standpoint, you see their CBDC roadmaps on these centralized banks, then you can think, okay, well, even if they were to use XRP, that would be further down the line. And the lawsuit should be over by then. I mean, touch wood, you think it would. But nonetheless, park it. We're talking just pure FOMO. When this comes to a conclusion, whether it's a win, lose, draw, settlement, doesn't really matter. I think we're going to see significant surges. And the reason for this, it has to be that there's going to be settlement, okay? There has to be not settlement, but there should be clarity for XRP, which means that businesses can utilize it with these other exchanges, centralized exchanges, for example, and know what they're getting themselves into, right? So whether new sales are going to be securities or whether new sales of XRP are not going to be securities. That's going to be one of the outputs of this case. Win, lose, draw, settle, doesn't matter, right? So at the back of that clarity comes the FOMO, because this means that there's actually a way that you can utilize it from a business standpoint and know what it is that you're doing. And that's going to create FOMO activity. Not only, let's say the settlement was there and the XRP gets the clarity, there's going to be a huge FOMO drive for it. So I do think the price is going to move up quite significantly, but I don't think it's going to go to those crazy high numbers. It's not happening on the 15th, in my opinion. It's not happening on the 18th, in my opinion. But of course, I'm going to remember those dates and I'm going to come back and I'm going to say, no, it didn't happen on the 15th. No, it didn't happen on the 18th of November 2022. And then I'll be here as well in March of 2023, which is where this article tells me that it thinks that we are likely to see settlement. Okay. And actually, personally, I think that lines up reasonably well. I do think a 2023 settlement is the most likely scenario. And March, yeah, I wouldn't put it past that either. So essentially, you know, I think we really want to kind of curb our enthusiasm at times. And for anyone who follows the Bitcoin updates, you'll know what the Bitcoin whales are up to, and you know that doesn't look great either. So I do think there's a bigger move to the downside, and right now all that's happening here is some significant FOMO activities going in for Ripple, and it's or XRP, I should say, and is pushing that price up a little bit. It isn't even that impressive. If we come up over into our charts here, you can really see that this activity down here, it isn't overly that impressive. Not in the same way that we used to have it down here from March of 2020 all the way up before we had the billions of dollars of damage done by 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗔𝗥𝗘. So, you know, we are where we are. It's looking okay. It's not overly impressive. And I do think we're going to break on down from it. The idea, though, is that we hopefully stay above 17 cent when we do move back. And I'm personally hoping to keep it above 20 if we can. So it's one of those to kind of keep an eye on. But I do think this price is moving to the downside. We can also see that it's heavily overbought on the weekly, heavily overbought on the daily. There's a little bit of volatility on the smaller timeframes, but the macro ones are pretty much giving us a pretty clear indication that a move to the downside is highly likely. So we want to be optimistic, sure, but we don't want to be fooled. We don't want to be kind of crazy enough to think that the price is going to $10,000. It's going to happen on one specific day. Everything's going to line up. It's all going to be actioned. And, you know, yeah, we've been seeing this so many times, guys, on this channel. I mean, we started the channel in 2020, actually late 2020, but we were into XRP way beforehand, and we were witness to many of these dates come and go, and nothing materializes from them. Whether it is a lawsuit, whether it is about a gold-backed standard for XRP, whether it is about the banks actually finally deciding to go ahead and flick that switch and use it across. These are things that have happened and plagued the XRP token pretty much since 2017. These are not anything that is new to the space. Don't get yourselves caught up into that. Try to be realistic and prevent yourselves getting caught out. Prevent these types of influencers manipulating you into holding whilst they sell on you as well. There's a lot of really bad stuff that goes on in crypto, and really this is one of the biggest ones for me when we see this kind of nonsense in the space around XRP specifically. Very few people, if any, have an insider for XRP, and if anyone does have inside information about what is going on with the SEC versus Ripple, I mean, they are putting themselves at significant risk by actually talking about any of it outside of court. So I really don't think it is a likely scenario that anyone has any kind of insider information. And instead, all you really have are a bunch of people trying to kind of, you know, get your attention, get you some clickbaity stuff going on, and basically trying to get you into this kind of really hyped up mentality. But guys, trust my experience on this one. It never ends well. I'm going to leave it there. If you have found this useful, informative, maybe even entertaining, smash the like button. I do appreciate that. If you're new, subscribe, join us down in Discord, and I'll catch you in the next one.